you and me in the sun. Know that I still be here when the day is done. So come a little bit closer, and I'll tell you what I feel inside. You know I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on you. You know I'm gonna wait on you. Yes, I'm gonna wait on you. No one's gonna love you like I do. So glad that I found you. You're the missing piece, the last piece of the puzzle. I'm finally at ease. So when times are rough and the promises we make just seem so hollow and weak, and we're about to break, we have to remind ourselves, 'cause we know how we feel inside. You know I'm gonna wait on you. Ain't over till it's over. I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna love it till it's gone. You know I'm gonna wait on you. And the weight that's on your shoulder, I'm gonna carry that for you. So hear me when I say, no one's gonna love you like I do. I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on you. You know I'm gonna wait on you. And the weight that's on your shoulder, yes, I'm gonna carry that for you. So hear me when I say, no one's gonna love you like I do.
Yes, we are live. We are live. And we have a juicy topic tonight. I just want to make sure that the sound is coming through. Got to make sure the sound is coming through. I'm in a laid back mood. You hear a laid back song, but that's some old get busy music, the romantic music, the baby making music, which is all good. It's all wonderful and it's all beautiful. But you got to be careful who you enjoy that baby making music with. See, sometimes we let things get out of hand and things become inappropriate and we think we can beat the odds. Many of us, I won't say all of us, but many of us have been there and done that. Let me check the sound. Let me check the chat room. Yes, Simply Deep. I knew you'd be here for this one. Julia, how are you? Sister Oyala, my beautiful sister, how are you? Sugar PB in the house, still standing strong from the ATL. Does it sound good? Because that video I made earlier today, the sound was woo, 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 woo. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this? I know on the live shows, most of the time it's not like that. And I think I kind of found out the reason why, but I just want to keep it where you can hear what I say because I made some good points today. And that particular show, Reese, yes, slipping in the back door, but she's here anyway. Yeah, okay, as long as the sound is good. For some reason, I got to still nail down what that was all about because that was a waste of a video. Juicy story. What is her name? Kawana Jenkins. That's why I made this particular show tonight. I didn't want to do a double thing. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Simply Deep. Let me play around with these controls here and get everything straight and put everything where it needs to be. Yes. And as always, if you feel you want to talk, a little bit and come on in, you can feel free to do so. Let me see how this is working here now. Pow! Oh, I gotta show my face. That would help a little bit. Yes, you can see what's going on behind me. Workplace stuff. Yeah, buddy. Let me just move one to the side so you can see what's going on here. Okay, what does she have on? Okay, I don't know what she has on, but there's something serious over there going on. And the funny thing about it is, this happens all over the place. And do I still have the same, what's the name banner here? Let me go find that banner. I'm here with you for the night. I was feeling a little tired, but it's not going to stop the show. Let me see. Let me open this up and see if I can find this banner here. Okay. I should put on so much of that I should put that little soul music on again. Okay, is this in here? No, that's not it. Is this it? No, I'm not going to take too much time looking for it. No, I'm not. It might be on this one. It might be. Let's see. Here it is. This is the one I did earlier. I'm going to put this up for a second. Okay, come on. Take your time. Spin around, spin around. Yeah, but this is really something that people need to talk about because it happens on just about every job. I'm going to go out on a limb and say every job. So since the sound is good, and I want to speak on this again to lead into why I did tonight's show, I kind of broadened the scope. It's because Kawana Jenkins was working at Fulton County in Georgia, in Atlanta area. Oh, well, yeah, Fulton County. And I might just jack everything up. I had the facts in front of me and I had the earlier show and I put some paragraphs there that could explain everything. But the bottom line is that officials found a cell phone that had video on it of her taking a finger to the mouth from one who was incarcerated. Okay, so she was immediately arrested. And I spoke on that, and I spoke on how in jails and in prisons, when you're incarcerated, I'm going to speak on this a little bit more to lead into it, that eventually you open up. I don't care who you are. Eventually you open up, meaning that you find somebody that you can talk to. Not that you're going there for that. No, you're not going there for that, but you find somebody to talk to. You're in a jail, for crying out loud. And like I said earlier, in jails and in prisons, unless you work there, you don't understand that there's a lot of nothing going on. There's a lot of idle time. And people say, well, the idle mind is the devil's playground. Well, I wouldn't always blame the devil on everything. Every time we get in trouble, we always want to blame the devil. And that's no good. Let me kind of open the screen back up again. So we blame the devil for the things that we do and never take accountability for our actions. We know good and damn well that we have a choice when we make choices. Most of us and many of us in life, I'm not going to say at the workplace, but we've been there, done that. And I'm going to share a workplace story that I experienced along those lines, but I ain't doing it here. I'm going to do it on the after show line, and it's going to be juicy. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be juicy. I'm only going to say that. I may not stay long on it, or I may get on my phone and take a walk while I'm on that particular line, and we'll talk, right? So anyway, the devil made me do it, right? Yeah, it's always a devil, unless we consider ourselves devils. Anyway, let me take a sip of this lemonade here. I ain't gonna lie, this is ghetto. We got all these wonderful glasses and different things here. We have a lot of stuff packed away because at the apartment here, we didn't take everything with us. All the furniture is packed away up at the house and everything, but this is the ghetto way of doing it. The hood way of drinking, because you get more. Look, you get a whole lot more. I'm not into them cups. I'm not into being polite, little cousin. I drink a lot. Eat a little, okay. And I can't stand people who drink a little bit and act like, I'm full. Come on. You got to drink. I sweat a lot, and I will be sweating a lot. It is hot here in Accra, Ghana. There's a little breeze outside, but all of these lights, boy, they're baking me. I feel like one of the little pieces of chicken, a Kennedy fried chicken, just keep it warm to come later on and mess your stomach up. Yeah, but let me just shout out a little bit here. And I'm way away, and there's a big reflection in the daggone Sugar P, yes. Oh, y'all little beautiful. Julia, Simply Deep, 1985. Sister Reese, Julia. Okay, let me see a little closer here. Queen Midas, the Midas touch, right? Everything you touch turns to gold. And of course, the one and only Master Glam and Naima Ra. Yes, Ashe. Top-notch rocker. That sounds like something to do with being a DJ or something, right? Okay, here we go. In my opinion, as much as I'm a fan of spontaneous sex or watching spontaneous sex, he's just telling everybody I like watching. So if you want to do it, don't be shy. We should not shit where we eat, no matter how attractive our coworker is. That could be hard because it didn't, yeah. Those of us who drink out of jars, Sister Oyala, you're right here with me. Thank you. Now, I may miss a few things in the chat room, and I got to keep doing this. I'm not going to try to be cool. I'm keep wiping my face because we're going to have a good time tonight. But yeah, jobs. Oh, I was speaking about jails in Joanna Jenkins. Joanna? Is it Ja? Is it Tawana? Jawana? I wanna? Let me see. Let me just check this again. No, the wrong one. Okay, Kawana. Oh yeah, Kawana. Okay, that's better, right? Look at her in her uniform in the office of a supervisor doing her thing. And the tensions, you see, most regular jobs, they're not like jails and prisons, which on the earlier show, we pretty much agreed that it's 100% of the facilities, jails and prisons. Unless it's like a transsexual midget and a dom lesbian female giant, and it's only those two, I don't think nothing's going to happen. But the bottom line is that from all I've known and all I've seen and all I've heard, it's most jobs. But with jails and prisons, just when you drive past the jail, when you drive past the prison in your neighborhood or in your travels, know that there's some sex going on. And usually it could be at that very moment. I've heard some stories and I've been involved in a story. Yes, old SCURV. Hate to admit it, but it ain't easy because you're locked away. And I'm going to expand this beyond just jails and prisons, but you're locked away. Say, for example, you have somebody working in front of you, right? And usually there's somebody you're not attracted to. You're not even thinking that way. You're watching out for you're watching your back. But if it is a woman and you're a man or whatever pairing it could be, because there's lesbian stuff going on there, I'll talk about that. There's homo stuff going on there, I'll talk about that, and the regular good old juicy hetero stuff, and some unbelievable stuff that it has to be because you're closed in. And you have this tension that anything can jump off at any time. And a friend of mine, Angelo, back in the day, he's about 4 years older than me. So when we hung out, I was a young teenager. He was a couple of years older. He was very much into nature, watching the nature shows and channels and stuff. And we'd go out like in the yards. And when Queens had had rabbits and snakes and fireflies and praying mantises and you name it, it was there. Queens is not like that anymore. You know, it's just straight dead. It's like Manhattan as far as the greenery is concerned, right? So let me see here. Oh, and drink out of a jar, right? Be careful what you drink out of, though. Make sure if somebody handed it to you, it's something legit. But he told me that with animals, when sensing death, doom, destruction, or an attack or some type of tension, they have a feeling to go through the motions of procreation, you know, and they don't say, hey, come here, little sexy animal. Let's, get busy. No, it's just a tension. And tensions, from my theory, transfer. So when you're in a place where anything can jump off, anything can happen, you can be attacked. And most of the time with jails or prisons, if you follow protocol, nothing's going to happen. But if you make a mistake, somebody gets out, that could be your neck. A whole lot of people can get out, right? So in that kind of atmosphere, and say most of the time when you're a rookie and you get in on that job, you know, it could be a thing where you're going through things. You're working late at night. This person sitting in front of you is very professional. You're very professional. After a while, you know, you start to talk. You don't start to gab so much. You keep it professional, but you speak on little things. Oh, you like dogs too? Oh, I like I like cats. What kind of cat do you have? Oh, I brought you this magazine on cats. It has some interesting points. You begin to innocently bond. With some, it's easier. And others, it's a little harder. You're not trying, but then you work that 8 or 12-hour shift, and then you come back again and come back, and you're working day after day with this person. And so now some people switch phone numbers. Some people just keep it on the job. Some people are hard to break. It's not everybody that goes through this, right? So after a while, if something happened at home, if you have someone at home, you bring it to the job, but you try to keep it. But this person who's with you the whole time, they may be very caring, quietly caring towards you. Well, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening with you? I don't want to talk about it. You know, it's the person I have at home. They're getting on my nerves. They don't understand. And, you know, it's just give me a hard time. And, you know, then you hold it back and give it 2 weeks. The whole thing is out. Your partner has a little sympathy, has a little emotion. So listen, it's going to be all right. Listen, you know, I brought you something here. This is for you. I heard you like these type of cookies or crackers. I'm going to cheer you up. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You're so kind. You didn't have to do that. Human nature kicks in. You feel now that you're looking forward to going to work. If this is just regular work or regular job, but in a jail, there's still that tension. So now they're very nice. You bond. Don't let it get to the point where you end up connecting outside of the job. Now, when you come back, and it may not be anything sexual, you feel closer to them. You've opened up your whole world to them. Now they become the escape from whatever it is that you're going through in your personal world, in your personal, excuse me for being so sweaty. But that's to show you, I got reflections on this side of my head, on this side of my head, on that. I got lights all around me. You know, if everything goes out, y'all wait for me, because that means there was a power outage or a blink. A blink knocks me out. I'll be right back. Right. So it's not good, but you have to go to work. You can't avoid going to work. And now you have a bond with this person who you know their stuff too. If you both are going through stuff, or if you're both are single or one is single, it don't matter. You kind of mesh in whichever way you can mesh. And then that mesh becomes a strong bond. And you look forward to coming to work now. So what happens? Okay. I'll get back up on that one later on. But on a regular job, an office job, it could be where you're working in a warehouse. You don't have as much intimate time with each other, but things will happen in the break room for your work and near each other. It may take time for certain things to happen. I've seen supervisors get involved with people who work in, because I worked at Home Depot one time, 2 different occasions, and I've seen that happen there. It's how do we control this thing? Like I said, can we control our sexual tensions on the job? Can we leave our sexuality and our sexual tensions in the locker before we get on the floor or get in the office or the cubicle or to the jail or wherever we work? We can't. This is always happening. It always has been happening, whether you know it or not. There's always that person who's completely naive on the job. They're like in a different world and they have no clue. Then you have the people on the job who are the cheerleaders and the nosy ones who may be close to one who's involved in a budding affair or a budding connection on the job. Now, see, we can't stop this, but we should. We should. If you have somebody at home, you should. If you don't have anybody at home and they don't have anybody at home, then you take your time and you keep your stuff far away. But even still, there's complications with this. You know why? Because when you do get close and you do let each other know that you are attracted to each other, even before sex happens, even if sex doesn't happen for months and it's building up, Brother C. Tuma. I want to see what yes. Work husband. Yep. Hence the advent of work husbands and wives. Is this just a joke? Because people say, oh, that's my work husband. Oh, that's my work wife. Are they joking or are they really getting busy? Now, what I meant to say before you actually have sex, or you do have sex with the person in the physical job or off of it, because that happens a lot too. Trust and believe. I will tell some stories. I will tell some fantastic stories tonight. The juiciest ones I'm going to tell on the conference line. All right. So if you don't know where I'm going to put the conference line here, and I should always put it up. That's not it right there. That's the call in. That's my actual cell phone. You could use WhatsApp, but the conference line, I put it up on the home LanceScurv home YouTube page, YouTube LanceScurv, where you see the header and everything. I kind of squeeze everything in, but I put that number there for the future. You know, y'all should have that number. So I may just put in Telegram or shoot something out to a few people and say, hey, we're going to meet up on the conference line at 3:00 or this time or whatever. That's a whole separate thing for the show. And I might put it up depending. You know, we have private ones, we have public ones, and the private ones, they private for a reason and straight juicy. Don't talk until daybreak when we get on those, right? Right, Oyala? Yeah. So then the jealousy starts. You have this work husband or work wife. You may not even say that's what it is. Or maybe something so discreet, but you got something going on between the both of you. And say, for example, the woman in this pairing on the job, you being the man, and we'll switch it around. She notices someone coming around your desk. She notices someone parking near you in the parking lot all the time. If you park way over there on the right side, she parks there. She always gets there a little late than you. If you park way on the left side, she parks next to you or near you and kind of hangs out in a car and walks into the job with you. People notice these things. On jobs, it's a fact, and it's been proven with different types of studies. You can sniff the change, the tensions. You can sniff the difference between two people. It could be slight. You think they don't notice this stuff, and they sitting there sipping their tea, reading their paper, doing their work, acting, but they peeking over them glasses and they're looking over. Ethel. Do you see that girl that's always hanging around Lance? The other one's going to get so mad. I don't know what's going to go on. They watching you like a hawk. They already know. And don't let one of the two tell. Now they're going to have facts. And now the whole job is in on it, and you haven't even did the do yet. Maybe you have. See? So now the jealousies come. The man may be angry or upset that this other guy is hitting on the one he's about to get involved with, and come back to him with it because the other guy doesn't know. So say I'm messing with this chick. I say chick, it's a New York thing. It's not a derogatory thing. This young lady on the job, I think nobody knows. And maybe nobody knows. Let's just say nobody knows. And the next guy comes over. Hey, that woman over there, Barbara, man, I think she likes me. And so now you're like, wait a second. She's messing with me, but he doesn't know. Yeah, she gave me her number today and told me to call her tonight. Now you're mad. And it could be the woman with another, a woman coming to her saying, boy, this guy Lance was hitting on me. He gave me his number and said to call him tonight. He wants to take me out. Now is the beginning of the end. Now, do you confront him on the job? Maybe you don't, but you treat him different now. You're not walking around him now. He's a little testy. He sees how you're acting and everybody's talking. She's mad at so-and-so, whatever. And this other guy or other woman who is about to deal with you, now she finds out that there was something going on before him or her. It's too much. It's too hot, baby. Gotta run for shelter. Gotta run for shade. So long ago, you were my job wife, my work wife. Doom, doom. So there's all these different types of things. Sometimes supervisors they catch wind of it. And they step to you, but they have to step to you in a decent way, in a professional way. They can't say, I know you're screwing that chick. Or now maybe if you like high school buddies, childhood buddies, he can come at you that way or she can come at you that way. But it creates a mess for the whole job, the tensions. If, depending on positioning, right? If one of you are a supervisor and the job knows that even if you're not messing around, but this woman is a supervisor's pet, that supervisor's pet now is not loved on the job because of that, but it's tension because you got to be careful. Excuse me. You got to be careful how you deal as an employee with the supervisor's pet, because the supervisor's pet can run back and tell on you if you said anything, if you did something against protocol. That supervisor's pet is an unofficial supervisor, whether you like it or not. And they're not always cool. They do get aggressive. They do get condescending. And they will act as though they're your supervisor unofficially. They'll say little things to you and they get away with murder. So it's not just that they're two people on the job screwing or seeing each other. That supervisor's pet can come in late, not get reprimanded, always at the time of the evaluation, whether it's quarterly or yearly, or they always get top pay. So they have their way. So there's going to be a resentment toward that supervisor's pet. It's usually a male supervisor with a female employee. And maybe that female employee who is under his wing and under his crotch at the same time, she might be the one to get the promotion, even though she's not the most qualified person there at that job. So there's going to be resentments there. You know, sometimes you go to a new job and it seems like everything is just all right, and you want to put your best foot forward, but you begin to notice the gossip and the tensions and who doesn't like who. When you're there, it's like it's one blank space. Everybody is even to you until you settle in and find out what the rhythm is and who's who. And then you got to see it for yourself. So here, it's always a disaster. That's a place to go to work. You cannot swing it unless it's one person who owns a company and you're the one employee. And even then, how could it work even if it's just even a husband and wife team? They have arguments. They're legally creeping, right? They're legally with each other so they can feel free to do whatever, but they're bringing home on their job. Even if their job is in the garage, their job is in a warehouse or even an office, that wife, that husband represents home. So it's a continuum of what you have at home. It's not a separate thing. Some people prefer it that way. I think it's better that way, right? As opposed to these strange entities who you don't know what their, motivations and agendas are. So let's get to the juicy parts, right? I knew in Home Depot, first name was Robert. He better be glad I forgot his last name. But he was a supervisor in Home Depot. And I worked in the floor and wall department. I knew a lot about flooring through my father, his business, and growing up in that, about the wood and the polyurethane and the tile and the tile cutting, and which is simple, but there are a lot of things you need to know. But I was acquainted with it, and we took a lot of the classes there to learn a lot more. And I got pretty good at it. I got to tighten up I got work to do up at that house now with tile work, right? Tighten up my skills. Anyway, he wasn't a supervisor in my area. He was a supervisor in another area. And they had two levels of supervisor. You had the department heads, and you had what do you call them? The so-and-so manager, assistant manager in Home Depot, right? I remember it's back in the 90s. So he'll brush the dust off for the memory. So anyway, he was a department manager first. He was still cocky, a little short, thick glasses wearing white dude who had a dose of penis envy with everybody. Even if he saw a dog in the street peeing in the hydrant, damn it, he has a bigger dick than I do. He was just, he had the character traits of being a mass murderer, a serial killer. He just gave off that vibe. And so now, I'm there working, doing my thing. I have thick skin. I know how to handle people and deal with the general public. Of course I do, Yeah, you see that? And you saw that too, right? It happens. It's about to happen now. It's happening now. And it's going to happen. It has happened. Yeah. Indigo King said, I have to be honest. I've hooked up with females in the job and thankfully nothing got out of control. Old associate got caught one time and tried to blame everything on me. That's jacked up. That's jacked up. But see, Indigo King is that smooth kind of brother who can handle something like that. You see what I mean? He's got the maturity, and these things can happen and it can go all right. But the majority, it ain't happening. There's something that's going to get thrown out a sink. Now, this supervisor, Robert, he was a department manager, and then he became assistant manager. Now his ass was on his shoulder. So he would come around and kind of harass us in the different departments and kind of push us to tell things that he didn't even care about it. He'd grab a customer in the aisle. Now, in New York City back at that time, in 94, 95, that's when I worked there. I left halfway through toward the end of 95. Couldn't take it no more. Plus, I started driving the van out in the street and was making way more money. So those van stories, I got a gazillion stories for you. The Dollar Van Chronicles, right? Crazy stories. But you would have 25, 30 people in the aisle, like in Home Depots across the country, in smaller cities and smaller places. But New York City, when it first opened up, that was the first of its kind, right there on Rockaway Boulevard in South Ozone Park, Queens. And I lived in Richmond Hill toward the edge of Jamaica. And everybody in there, mama was there. You take a Sunday night late in that store, and it was busier than any Home Depot they had on a Saturday afternoon, bar none. And when the one in Brooklyn opened, the same thing. And when the one in Brooklyn opened, it was 24 hours, impact. So folks in other parts of the country said, who was in there 3 o'clock in the morning? I said, people coming from Manhattan and from Brooklyn. I'd like to buy this Asian, this Oriental rug. I want to buy all this paint. I'm looking for tile for like 3,000 square feet. Do you have it? Then you got to go cherry pick it off the top. 3 a.m. So in the daytime, you never know. I will say one little tidbit of information there. Soccer player who just passed away, the great Pele, he came to the store and I met him there in Long Island City when I worked there in 98 into 99. Well, it wasn't even a full year. I got out of there. But so he would come around and try to get on your nerves because he had all these people poking you. Excuse me, sir. It's like, hold on. I would control the crowds though. Thank the creator I can talk and run my mouth. Some people would just leave and go in the bathroom and hide from all those customers. So he came and brought one right up front and asked me this question. She needs to know so and so. He wasn't the kind of guy that when the crowds were low, he said, hey, guy, how you doing, man? I'm sorry, man. I talked to, nope. He didn't talk to nobody. He just wanted to be a prick all the time. And he had it for me because he would give me these stares through his glasses and I'd look right back at him, look right and follow him with it too. That's going to get me in trouble. How could you get me in trouble? Ain't no white man going to get me in trouble anyway on no job. I'm sorry. I'm leaving then. If you can't treat me with respect straight up, and see, he saw that in me. And he saw that a lot of folks gravitated around me. And he heard my big mouth talking good stuff on the job, teaching people stuff, telling them stuff. I would help everybody. I didn't have an attitude with any of the people that knew how to handle them. But he didn't like that that id. He didn't like that character. He didn't like that strength that he saw. It wasn't just the physical strength. And I was a little more physically imposing at that time also. So I was rolling carpet one time because they had a carpet rolling machine. Bzz, and you just line it up a certain way, and how many square feet you want, you give a couple inches over. So the machine was broken. And this was a Saturday. And there were 7 people in the aisle waiting to get carpet rolled. All these pieces of paper with measurements. I'm like, oh my God. There were 3 people in the whole department. So we had aisles up front and aisles in the back. And we were running. Wherever we weren't, there's somebody calling us to an aisle. They love to do that. The supervisors from different departments, we get on the phone. So we need somebody on floor and wall on the aisle where they have the mortar. And I'm sitting here with 6 more people to roll carpet. We're dripping down sweat. And it was ridiculous. And lucky I was in very, very good shape at that time. I'm on my knees rolling this carpet. And I'm telling you this because of the whole, I'm coming around with the whole controlling yourself. You know, I tell these long stories on Friday. And so this guy, he's standing above me, but he's behind me. So when he asked me to help this woman, you know, I'm rolling the carpet. I said, I have 7 more people, 7 people. I got 6 more people to finish helping to get this aisle clear because we had tiles in the same aisle, mortar in the same aisle, Listello trims in the same aisle. And I had to explain different things. And as I'm rolling to get people out of the aisle, I would multitask. I'm like, hold it down for me. Let me see. Well, let me tell you about this. This is the whatchamacallit that you need to disperse the right amount of mortar. You know what I mean? This, and that. My mind was in the zone, and he's trying to break that flow. He didn't like that flow. The flow I had and the few guys that had in the department, it was like Harlem Globetrotters. You know how they throw the ball at each other? I'm sitting here talking about tile and all of this, whatever, and he's trying to break that flow. Then when I said, okay, let me just take a break and lean up, I'm on my knees. He's standing there with his knee in my back. It took everything for me not to stand up and punch him to the next level. A white man's knee in my back. And I'm on my knees in front of this white man. Even though my back was turned, I'm on my knees sweating and he's getting on my nerves. So I just stood up. I stood up with my back still to him. And I turned around real slow. And I asked him, don't you see what I'm doing here? I am swamped. Why did you have your knee in my back? Please don't do that again. Or we're going to have to meet elsewhere outside of this place. Do you understand me? That joker backed up and walked off. But he was mad. He was mad. I know he had to change his diapers. I'm not trying to walk around like I'm some tough guy back in those days. But I was already filled out. I had stopped training from 85, but this is 94, and I was still eating good. I was still active, and I put on a little weight. So in my clothes, it was like, oh, God, dog. But they're always, not to get off the topic, but they don't mind you in those roles. Well, you the big black buck lift. They don't want you to be a supervisor. They want you to be in there lifting stuff, which if that's what the job requires, I needed it. I needed the job, but I'm not going to not be me and lick somebody's toes because of this unwritten rule. So let's get back to the juicy stuff. Why I was so happy for him when he got exposed. There was a woman there who I think she was a cashier. And she had some other position eventually, answering phones. I'm not clear on that. But it's not a little white girl. This guy, Robert, ended up hanging around her a lot. It was secret. It got out after a while, but in whispers, that they were seeing each other outside of the job. So her husband didn't know, And his wife didn't know. Of course, they're not going to know. And they were painting the town red, not necessarily going out to restaurants, whatever. It was a creep thing. It was a sex thing. And so they were doing this all in their own personal time. But it got so hot between them that they took it to the job. All of a sudden, they're coming to work in the same car. Coming to work in the same car extra early. Had tint on the windows all of a sudden. They both come out from the back seat. People see that. The cameras and security cameras see that. They didn't do nothing yet now, did they? Right? Technically. I mean, you can come out of the back seat of the same car. You can go, maybe you're eating lunch back there. Who knows? Maybe somebody's diabetic and needs their shots, and you got to give them a shot. Who knows? But it was definitely whispered amongst the people who worked there. So then he started hanging around after the time he was supposed to leave when she was there. Now you had one who answered the phones in the back, who had access to all of the security cameras. He wasn't security, but he was an extra pair of eyes and ears because he was sitting, he's an older white guy. He was one of them older white guys. This is another white guy I'm talking about now who was answering the phone. He was one of those older white guys who had military background, and he would never tell a lie type guy. And all he had was his integrity. And he would see things, and before he'd report things to the proper authorities in the job, he would come to you as a man, like he did, what's his name? And Robert, and put him in his place. Robert, I got to talk to you. This guy was like, he wasn't muscular, like popping, but you knew that this guy, as thick as he was as an older man, and his neck was thick, and his hands, his forearms, you knew that this guy was a terror when he was younger. So he's like, Robert, I got to talk to you. This is man to man. It's up to you what you do in your personal life. And it's up to you what you do within the confines of your marriage, whether your wife knows it or not. But you got to understand, I have all these cameras in front of me, all of these cameras, and I see what's going on. Now, I'm a man. I may be older, but I know what it's like to be a man. And for the most of my life, I've had integrity and restraint. And the few times I didn't, I paid the price. Nevertheless, I know how good a blowjob feels. He went there. I'm like, why would he say that? And he told everybody after what happened, but he didn't tell anything now. He says, I love a good head job like any other man, but you should not be doing this on the job. He whips out a book. On April 13th, I spotted you between the Oriental rugs. In the aisle now, when you pull them out, the big ones, you close them in, and from the other aisle, your girlfriend there crawled under and she did a thing. Did I see it? No, but I saw the positioning of your legs, that little camera that you don't know about. Yes, in the supply room. Tell me I didn't see that and tell me it's not the truth. I got 5 instances here and tape recorded proof of you doing things with this woman, and I can get you fired on the spot. But I happen to know that you have 3 young girls at home and an unknowing wife. I'm not going to tell anything. But if I see you do it again, all of the proof is going to come out, and I'm telling you, it's me who is going to tell. Do not do that again. So Robert, being a prick, he says, I don't understand what you're talking about, but if you'll never see me do anything because I don't believe I did anything, just don't bullshit me. You hear me? When you see 2 white guys arguing, the older one, like, it's a funny thing. Go ahead and roll the dice. But don't forget, I got this book and I got these video recordings. Oh, snap. A man of integrity, right? So anyway, he brushed it off. And he made sure that when what's his name was not there, because he didn't work 7 days a week, he plays little games. But little did he know that he let the next person who watches those cameras and answer those phones watch. And when he started doing stuff in some of them back rooms and patting on the butt and the camera and customers seeing this, they let him have it. He got busted. And not only that, he got busted. The word got out. His wife found out. The wife divorced him. Mind you, he's continuing this affair with this young lady. And he got into a very bad car accident. He was alive. And it was one of those things that he was just bandaged up, one of the feet up and something up his nose. And he was snapped up pretty bad. His wife was leaving him, took the kids to another state, or planned to, right? And come to find out that the young lady who was bowing down before him to pray, not to pray, or acting like she's praying but not praying, or she was praying on the body part, P-R-E-Y, and burping after too. Come to find out, he found out that she was giving the same treatment to another person who was there, a black supervisor who he didn't like. Oh, that burned him up. And he got well after a while. And he was actually fired off the job. He came up to the job, met with homegirl, and beat her down. Beat her down. This is a true story. Beat her down. He just showed up at the parking lot at night. She came out a little later than the rest of the people. They were gone. He didn't have access to getting in with the codes, but they would just haphazardly leave the things open. And so he was waiting for her by her car. And she came out. He grabbed her, got her throat. She couldn't scream. I mean, he was boom, boom, beating her down. Well, he got arrested. He's doing time. He's got to be out by now. But you see that? All because he didn't have control. And she got beat down. She took him to court on a criminal level and a civil level. And whatever he makes, he's got to pay. It's hanging over his head. He's got to cry broke, but he's got to pay something. I forgot what the amount was, but it was a good amount because he messed up her teeth and something wrong with her hearing and her back. And you know that back thing, you can't prove or not prove. I still feel pain. You know what I mean? And you're running up a paper trail. Well, he got to pay for it all because of his ding dong, ding 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 dong. I tell you, penis possession is a hell of a thing. Not everybody should have a penis because they're not responsible with it. It's like a gun. Sometimes we take out our guns when we shouldn't and shoot people now, right? Well, sometimes we take out our penises when we shouldn't and shoot people's wombs up. Skeet, skeet. And feelings get involved and things happen. Terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Let me see here. Look at some of these. I'm seeing a lot of short comments, so I know folks are laughing. Just say mastic. Let me give me that, Becky. Yeah. It's crazy. Let me see what's going on up here. All of them do it. All of them do it. Like I said, in the jail. That's right. You refuse to be anyone's bitch. That's right. You're too high of a queen for that, my sister. That you will never be. And if anybody thinks they're coming at you that way, give them to me. I'll take care of them. You know, and keep our briefs locked. Never heard of it like that before. We find it hard to keep like it's a hard box. The briefs, it's cloth. How do you keep it locked? You'll rip it. Little eyelets, little snaps, and pow, it's not working. Rip it up or just pull it up to the side. You ain't got to take your briefs off. Just pull it to the side. Like 50 Cent said, right? Whew, what a life. Like I said, I knew a dude in the jail who would have a particular inmate play sick. He plays sick for like 3 days before, like on a mild level. Oh, I'm not feeling good. So it looked good to the other fellow inmates. He was like, yo, I'm about to put in this form, man. I'm getting these severe pains in my stomach. And they put the form in. And the movement officer, who was a movement officer for that day because he got the hookup, knew, look at Master Glam. She crying, laughing. I know you are. Ding dong, ding, 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 dong. That's right. A lot of guys are in jail just because of that. I'm not demonizing women. I'm saying because they want to prove something. They want to get something. Something they did. A lot of times, you really think about it, it involves a woman. She doesn't even know, or women, right? I'm not saying more than one woman. I'm just saying the thought of women. Like, I'm gonna get this car, man. I gotta get this car, man. I gotta rob this bank to get this car. I gotta sell this crack to get this car, man. I gotta get these girls. And they drive around like that's all it takes. Fronting with lint in your pocket. You get some more of this ghetto lemonade. Oh, big gulp. That's better than a big gulp. For real. Yeah, so this particular officer who's been there for numerous years, and a lot of key people knew what he liked to do. He liked male inmates. He liked Black or Puerto Rican, Hispanic, young, slightly muscular, boyish faces. If you were Black, you had to have that kind of look. That was his thing. Everybody knew it. Well, not everybody. So he prearranged this with one of these guys. And so he would be the one to take this inmate to the nurse. So on his way, he takes this long roundabout way. And some of us who worked in the jail had the key to the maintenance room. It was like, that's like the gold key. Like, that's something you had, like, I got more power than you because I got the key for that part. Not that you were doing anything. I had one. An old veteran cut one for me and gave it to me. I like your SCURV. You're a good guy. I passed this on to you. It meant something. I'm like, oh, I'm so touched. This means something to me. I now have the key. Yo, SCURV, where'd you get the key from? Don't worry about it. Membership has its privileges. So I'll say this. This man who was undercover gay, he never turned his back on me in anything. He was always straight up with me. So that's why I'm not going to mention his name. But he would take these guys and go into one of these rooms. And it wasn't just a little room. Sometimes there were areas of the jail behind other areas that because it's so big, the facility, you had those vents that were huge, and they were running this way and running that way. And so you had to have these big open rooms that sometimes you had to walk below a vent, move to the side. They would take the cots back there and the little mattresses, little thin mattresses, something like the ones they use in the daycares, put it down and get busy. And you see bottles of beer up there. You'd see little roach clips thrown down. It's crazy. I one time went back there because we had to look back in them places too. Not every 30 minutes, but sometime on your shift, if you worked, you had to go back there and just look. I ain't touching nothing. I saw a pair of panties. I saw a condom. I mean, I worked there a number of years, but damn, it's like that. And so I also found out the underground existence in that particular jail. But they're all over because that's not the only place I worked. So, some of the guys I know, they passed away and whatever, but, they did dirt. You know what I mean? So he'd go and get his head job or hit the guy from behind in the jail, in his uniform. Nobody knew. They'd wait, come out, return him back to where he is in his unit, and nobody knew the better. So I didn't want to be privy to this stuff, but, close people told me stuff. He knew I knew. But like I said, on the flip side, he wasn't a piece of shit either. Like, it's a weird place to be when you see somebody doing something like that. But then you got to say, you know what? A lot of things happened where folks didn't like me in there, and he looked out for me. And this is a white man. I got to give credit where credit's due. He's the only one. When other black folks turned their back, were running with stories, he was the only one who said, I can't turn my back on Lance. He's a good guy. It's like, wow. His half-white children you were made to breed. That's what it is. So life lessons, y'all. But on these jobs, it is unfriggin' believable. And I got another couple stories I'm going to tell, but I'm going to start putting this link out. Anybody want to add something in? I know there are people that I know from back in them days listening. I know it. I have ways. I have ways. I have ways. Come on now. Let's see. Come on out there. Let me put it in again. You would not believe the things that people do. Police, corrections, firemen, regular office workers. I had a situation years ago. What was it, back in 1985? I was doing little apprentice architecture. There was a young lady who was a receptionist there. And we used to go out to lunch until after. Everybody would lock up. Okay, Betty. That wasn't a name. Betty, we're getting out of here early. Lock up. Lance is back there. He's packing up. Just let him out. And she didn't let me out. They didn't have no security in that office. 1985. I can't be found guilty for something that happened that long ago. And plus the way I was living, that was one of them stories. I'll keep it PG-13 here. She might be listening. I doubt it. But because of the experience, she brought one of her sisters to meet one of the dudes that was the gym where I trained. Long story. I'll save that for one of them after hour things. You know, let me know if anybody wants to come in. Let me know if anybody wants to come on in and add a story or add your opinion or share a little juicy tidbit, because it happens. This thing is very much real. And I'm going to definitely speak on something that I've been through, but I'm going to do it on the conference line. And again, I don't know why these numbers make it where I can't even memorize this number. Simple. Sometimes these hard numbers, I remember them like nothing. For some reason, I got a brain fart. Conference line. Don't call that now. Make sure I got it right. Yeah. Don't call it now. Call it when we're finished. Because I really want to tell this story, but it's too juicy to put out to the public like that. Because we're definitely bring some flack, hurt some feelings, and embarrass some people. And I don't want that. It's something that you will never believe. I'm going to tell it on the conference line and probably just destroy it after that. That's how bad it is. Crazy. And then you'll realize why I'm a nut. Well, I want to get to that part, and I wanted to maybe extend this show out some. So I'm going to ask one more time. Anybody want to come in? If not, then we'll go right on to the conference line. And I have to vet everybody who's going to be there, because I ain't going to just talk to just anybody and not know who they are. Or after y'all get in there, I might make it private. We can't put this one out like that. Come thinking out. Maybe that's a sign for me to go, which I'm going to wrap it up. And I do want to get in the conference line. So this is not going to be too long. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look at, yo, let's go over there. you know, I'm going to tell it. You know, I'm going to tell it. That's the conference line, y'all. And we're going to keep this one short and sweet. Let's put this banner up. I'm sweating. At least I can cut the lights out a little more, not sweat as much and just talk. Yeah. Listen, y'all can go over there ahead of me. I'm going to play a song. And when you do get over there, you know, if it's only one person over there. Oh, Master Glam is here. I didn't know. Oh, wait. I didn't know. I'm not rushing Master Glam. I'm not rushing Master Glam. No, I can't do that.
I just wanted to add a little funny.
Go over there, but we're going to keep it going. Talk to me.
I just wanted to add a little funny to it. Nothing really too serious. But
all right.
One thing, if you're thinking if you're thinking about hooking up with your coworker, just think about this. Like, what if you and your coworker do hook up and it's terrible? Just think about that. Because then you're going to have to see this person for as long as you guys are working there. And that could ruin your job. You messing up your money. But just think about it like that. Just avoid it at all costs. I'm not gonna lie. I did it before I tried it, and I didn't learn my lesson.
Right.
I didn't learn.
I had a
my
disaster.
Lesson. It was a disaster, and I didn't learn my lesson. I did it multiple times. Okay?
Right.
I'm like that child. I'm like that child that you tell them not to touch the stove, but they gotta touch the stove.
You gotta find out for yourself.
Yeah, they gotta touch the stove, and then they gotta check it again just to see if it's really hot. Like, did that really just happen? But yeah, you guys, it's not worth it.
You gotta look at them. You gotta look at them, and they might hook up with somebody else, and somebody else know about it, or somebody's jealous. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you're beating the odds when you're doing that, though. Like, wow, we did this, and you can find out about other coworkers with, like, just talking. It's like you're empowered because you think people don't know, and oh man, then you're forced to work with them. You're forced to see them.
Yes.
And
oh my God,
if things messed up, and you want to be like, okay, I'm moving on. You're like, oh no, this is gonna keep on going on. It's crazy. That's why I love you. You keep it real like that. You know what I mean? Kwame in here with us, and Kwame, Master Glam can hear you, so you don't have to wait. You can come on and talk. Let's chop it up a little bit, all of us.
Hi, Kojo, how are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Yeah, you're sweating like a pig, man, brother.
I know. I think I am a pig.
Yeah, you are saying like a pig, Kojo. I understand. I understand. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, a great discussion, Kojo. I mean, I was saying on the chat that some of my men I find it hard to keep our briefs unlocked. I'm still standing by my word because, when there's a temptation, they can't help it.
Yeah. And then a lot of the men want to turn around and blame the woman. That's what, they've been trying.
Yeah, I know, ridiculous. You've been doing it. So why are you blaming the woman for when you've been doing infidelity? What's it got to do with the woman? When you're doing it, when you're the man, you're doing it. Yeah. And I mean, the other one who beat up his wife, I mean, that was very stupid of him. All right, the wife cheated, which she's a hypocrite, but you don't need to beat her because she was cheating as well.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. Because two people have been doing that, you're cheating on each other. What's the point of you being in a relationship? It's a waste of time.
Yeah, but
it is a waste of time, Kojo. Because like, I mean, you cheat and then he cheats. That doesn't make sense. Why are you in a relationship if you know you're not going to be happy?
Right. That's something.
I ask myself that.
But like I said, they always try to blame the woman. Like, how was she teasing you? I mean, like, how was she teasing you? Right? Like, what's she supposed to do? Like, well, I don't want to be accused of teasing him, so I'm going to leave my breasts and my booty and my pretty thighs home and these beautiful lips I have on my face. You can't, but they go after them. And we know that there's some women who like to play that game. It's a power trip. So we really can't say the percentage. You know what I mean? But Master Glim, have you seen or observed other people in embarrassing situations like that as the blowback, pun intended, for what they were doing? Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, you mean at work? Like if they, you mean at work? Like if I've observed something like that?
You seen this happen too?
Honestly, I saw something a little.
Not the actual. Notice what was going on.
Oh, like what was going on? Hold on.
Yeah. Was it out in the open? Other people were doing it. Well, take your time. So it just doesn't seem to end. And then now see, for somebody who's on social media a lot, and yes, I am sweating like a pig. Like I ran a marathon. And I just finished. like I'm that guy who ate cheese all week, and now I'm sitting on the toilet sweating, thinking, "No, I am definitely not in the toilet, right?" But like I said, it's this thing travels now faster because of social media. You know, for somebody who's on social media a lot, I'm always a minute for something, but I see it in people because when you went home, you went home. If you made a phone call, you made a phone call. But now you can be sitting up in the middle of the night, texting, taking pictures, pop, 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 doing more. And it accelerates everything. And you can be having this type of friendship with 10 different people. So if one seems to be fading, you throw one in, it's crazy. You look around, the years are going by, the job's going by. You know, there was a guy, I'll say it in a very broad way. He messed with a woman he wasn't supposed to mess with in an incarcerated kind of way. And she spit out the substance into a piece of plastic. It was in the facility and saved it and gave it to a nurse to test it. And it was his. So he lost his job. He was within months of retiring. 25 years in, top pay. Almost going to get $100,000 a year in retirement. Come on, man. Ooh. That was a wrap. He lost it. It's embarrassing like that. But anyway, I don't know if anybody else wants to come in. I'll shoot the link out one more time, and we'll move on to the conference line. But I will do a roll call to find out who's who, because I know we got these little shapeshifters out here who hide and change their profile names, and they want to be down. But no, we don't have that. If you messed up, you messed up. And that's the way it is. So, yes. Who else we have here? I'm going to wrap this down, y'all. And, okay. All right. I'm just checking things out here. We're going to put some music back on and ease on out of here. And we're going to make sure to hit that number, not this number, but the chat, the conference number. Let me just put it back up. Let me make sure to put it back up so we have no misunderstandings. Folks start ringing the cell phone. I'm like, nah, that's the wrong number. Where did I put it? Okay. Boy, y'all been making some. Julia! Talk to me, Julia. It looks like you're in.
Oh, sure.
Okay, there's something else you have to do. Okay, it's kind of buffering. Give it a second. Give it a second. Okay. I can see you, you know.
Hi. I'm sorry. I was trying to That's Mike. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. Let me just fix the camera.
Right.
I was trying to fix it before I came on. Just give me. Okay, there we go. Okay, wait, hold on.
No problem.
Okay. Oh wait.
Listen. Okay, I'll block it out anyway.
Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, Thank you. It's okay. It's small. Okay. Hey. Okay. Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think it's
and I'm the only one.
Okay.
So you can feel it. But I can see your screen, but nobody else can see your screen. Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to say like before you go whatever, I just want to say that it just is okay. You don't wait, okay, let me see if I can fix it again. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know what's going on with my phone. I'm sorry. I can see fix the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you go, I just wanted to say that it just seems like these workplaces, it's more like of a social thing, you know, like it just seems, because like I said, I've had and I remember like one experience I had. I used to work at this warehouse, and I would just go into this warehouse, right? I was there for like a good 10 months. This is about like 2 years ago. And I mean to say, I would go into this warehouse and it would just feel like I'm a piece of meat thrown to like a bunch of dogs. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the men who used to work, I mean to say, this place was just these workplaces here. I mean, I know it's everywhere, but here in this where I live, it's just crazy. So when I would walk into this place, it's like I mean to say, you could just feel the testosterone in the air. You know, the men they would just like everybody wants to take a pissing contest, you know. And it's like when and being a female, I used to feel very uncomfortable, you know. And there was one incident where I had made a complaint because it was through an agency, and I told the lady, I said, you know, this he's coming close to me, and when I would go take the bus, he would kind of be like real close, and so they didn't want to hear that because I guess they didn't want to lose workers or whatever. So even if you complain, they don't care because they only care about the people, you know, making their money and having their workers, you know. So yeah, I mean, I've like when I was working this place, I mean to say like I would even hear like the gossip's heavy, like because you know, like the men, they all smoke, and they will go out and you seen that female, she got a body on her, and then you know in the warehouse, because I mean to say, and a lot of these men who work in these warehouses, like that particular warehouse, they were actually cellmates. All of them were in prison, and the security guard that worked at that, he was actually the prison guard, so they all knew each other. So it just happens that even though they all went to jail together, they ended up at that same warehouse, you know. So whenever I would walk into this place, they would see me, whatever, and it's like I could feel the eyes just piercing. I'm just, like I said, little me. I'm going in there to do, because we and it wasn't a hard job, but it was just the environment. I used to feel so uncomfortable. So after 10 months, I had to leave because I'm just like, yo, I couldn't deal with the eyes. Like they were and it was like a lot of black, but then it was like half black, half white, whatever. And a lot of the, I know a lot of the white guys, it was about a couple of them, they would slip me their number, and they would like get really close to me while I'm working. They would always come to my workstation. I mean to say, and it was crazy. I could never it's like all eyes would be on me when I could feel it piercing in my body, you know. And I mean, it was just like such a negative place. Everybody smoked, but there was some harassment, you know. And I remember this one girl, this one lady, she was telling me that the guy, he would say to her, he told her that she makes him hard. That's what she said, that she makes him hard. You know, like she's like, he's like, yeah, you give me a hard on. Like they say stuff like that. So it got so toxic. Like, I mean to say, these workplaces are off. Oh my God, like it's off the chain, you know. And these men, like, they don't care how they say, they don't care how they approach a female. They don't care. They'll just say anything sexual, and it's normal for them, you know. And like you were talking about, like the supervisors, they don't care. Like the supervisors, like, you know, when you tell them, they don't care, like, you know. And some of the supervisors, that's another thing too. They sit together and they gossip, and they got their pet peeves, you know. And then the pet peeves, those are like the overseers, you know. So yeah, so it's like whatever happened to just going to a job and doing a job, and that's it. Why does it have to be, if you don't flirt with them, or if you're not in their loop, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, whatever happened to just going and working a shift and calling it a day? Whatever happened to that, you know?
Yeah. But it's like the people.
So yeah, these workplaces are just out of control.
Yeah, they get mad when you don't partake in that. You know what I mean? They get mad. They get pissed. Like, who do you think you?
You know, because if you don't entertain them, exactly. Like female, and you know, if they find you attractive or whatever, and if you're not entertaining the foolishness, and if you're not entertaining that, you're not flirting with them, they hate that. And so they look at you like, you know. And I mean, because I used to get a lot of that in this warehouse that I used to work at. I used to get a lot of that. They would look at me when I could feel them scanning my whole body. Like if I'm passing by, they'll be looking at my shape or whatever. I mean, I'm always, you know, properly covered. I don't never go to work looking inappropriate, but you know, they would kind of scan, you know, like, yeah, you could be a female minding your business, and they would still kind of, you know, is always some kind of like sexual type of, they have to say like something sexual or something like that, you know. And I say this place, I got to the point where I had to leave. It got so uncomfortable for me. And it's like, even going to this job every day, I used to hate it because I used to feel uncomfortable, you know. And I mean to say, you could feel it's so much testosterone, you know. And me being a female, I used to work there nights 2 years ago, and oh my goodness. And they had no kind of like, no, it's like, they don't have no shame how they approach a woman. you know, and it's like they'll get really close all up and you'll be working and they'll get like really, really close to you. And it's like, you're making me uncomfortable. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, so when I didn't give them when I didn't pay them no attention, I used to get really mad. So I used to get a lot of evil looks. So yeah, that's one experience I had. But yeah, go ahead, Lance. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying these guys don't know how to talk to women. They don't know how to engage. And I mean, the testosterone is okay, but it's got to be checked. You know what I mean? Right. It's like a cop who just fires off his gun for no reason. That's not good. You have to know when to shoot that gun or pull it out. So the testosterone you should be able to handle. They can't handle it. You shouldn't have to feel it. You shouldn't have to feel that way. Where are the guys who are going to put these guys in check? There's so many women out here who want the attention, yet they want to on their job too. What do they expect? Like to come to an orgy every day and get paid? Is this what they want?
Exactly.
If they where anything goes, and the women out there that were down with that were out, they would be out there with no shame, just getting it. You know what I mean? And then they want to cry when they get something. Oh, I got HIV. Well, you went in there and you dipped your finger in the butter, and you got what you got. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and like I remember okay. Now I was gonna say some of them are married, and they would because like at that place there was one guy, he was married, and it was white, because we used to carpool. I used to we used to do like one carpool or whatever, like, you know, because I didn't have, this place is all the way in the middle of nowhere. A lot of these factory places, they're like all the way in the middle, like nowhere. There's no buses, no nothing. So the guy offered, you know, to pick me up, whatever, as me and a couple of them, and so he said you could just give me $10 or whatever. So, and that's what I used to do. So it was him who used to drive. He was married, and it was another couple that we used to work together. They're a white couple. It was one white couple. So the black guy was actually cheating on his wife with the white girl. She was married and he was married. You know, they were both married, but they were cheating with each other. And then her husband, the white woman's husband, she didn't even know that that his wife was cheating on him, and they were working in the same place. You know, so it's a lot of that nastiness going on around.
Oh man, it's like a board game. It's like game where you have tensions, and I got to do this, and it's a game until it becomes real. Somebody gets pregnant. Exactly. Somebody gets a STD. Somebody gets jealous. Somebody gets caught. And this is why we have all of these videos talking about these things and news programs coming on. And you're like, damn, look at all this stuff happening. But it's been going on like that.
And I think it's cute. And they play around with their lives, and they think it's cute, and it's not. Like, you know, like you know, they're gambling on their lives, and it's, you know, and they think it's cute to some people, because some men, they find it fun, like, to get caught. I guess, like, you know, they like to cheat, and they like to they think it's like a game. They find fun in, like, I guess, being risky or whatever they call it. But it's like kind of like a fetish, where they would, like, you know, they like to they would cheat or whatever. Yeah, so it's that kind of like sickness, but it's no shame. Yeah. You know, it is no shame. You know, no dignity, no class in themselves. No, you know, it's sad. It's sad. You know. But yeah.
Crazy world we live in. And then you let's throw in homo factor, because it's not just heteros doing this. It's heteros people who act in hetero, who are not hetero, who are crossing over to the other side, and they might be messing with a dude, or the women might be messing with women.
Right.
And you don't know. It's crazy. That makes it even worse. Then you got the gay guys. Yeah.
And the gay people, I think that the women who turn gay, I think a lot of it has to do with them being hurt. Because I had an experience with some friend. Well, at the time they were my friend. They're not my friends anymore, but they were lesbians, and they're more dramatic than the straight people. Let me tell you that you think that the straight people got the problems, the lesbians are even more. They're very jealous. You hear me? Yeah. And they think it's cute. I'm LGBT, and then they rep the flag like that's some kind of fad. When they go to the gay pride parade and they have the flags, like that's cute, you know. So like it's like some kind of fad, but really those women been hurt a lot. That's why they turn gay. They've been hurt, you know.
Yeah. Yep. The emotional thing, and then some of the women on that level are tired of messing with men, and some of them think, because some are like, I was always like this. Men were never on the menu. But to some who are like, I'm tired of men. Men, they hurt me, they cheat on me, and they go run right into the whole lesbian thing, and it's worse. They get beat up sometime, and the woman they mess with is jealous. I mean,
they're very jealous.
Jealous when they feel they got them. Jealous. I'm not going to say what job it was, but there was somebody, a lesbian on the job, and her girlfriend worked on the job. And this was one supervisor who irked this lesbian. He was nice to everybody, to the men, to the women, just across the board. But in her mind, he was putting more butter on the slice when it came to her girlfriend. And she was going to run him in and report him. And it was like, they told him just stay away from her, but he wasn't doing anything. He was doing his job excellently and didn't have a record or anything for doing that. The guy was all right, but she was uptight. And they watch you too. They're sitting there watching you, me, but I try to make them like, listen, you ain't got to worry about that for me. Everything's cool, Lance, that's my dog, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The butch types, you know what I mean? I never had, it's like I've been a lesbian magnet all my life. A lot of women who have, it's just crazy. Usually the only ones that weren't were the ones that I was married to. The women that I was married to. Married, this was before. But other than that, it's like you find there's some, and not every single person, but it's that life I lived in, I guess. I don't know. I'm lesbian friendly. Whatever that means,
Well, they feel comfortable with you. They feel comfortable, and they know that you're not that type of guy that is like other guys where they just really just crazy out of control. So yeah. But so unfortunately, there is not. I'm sorry.
Right. The funny thing? Like those, I'm cool with them. The butches, I treat them like dudes. Yo, what's up? How you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And they'll be like, man, look at that girl over there. I say, yeah, man, she's something. I just say that, I'm like, Lance, you cool. Why don't you come over later on? We hang out. I thought you was a lesbian. What you want me to do? You got a dress on and look at you.
Yeah. They're the lesbians are very because I had an experience. This is crazy, but I mean maybe a little too much, but whatever. But they're like about a couple months back. I met an Uber driver. She was a stud type of lesbian, and she was doing little. She's like, and I said I'm not I don't go that way. I mean obviously I don't but I don't care how much if I say that I don't like if I have issues with men or whatever, because there are a lot of not so good ones out there. I'll never go to that side, because it's not natural. It's not natural. It's against spirituality. It's against the natural. It's not natural for two women to, what I'm saying? That's just not how God intended it, So, but she was trying to seduce me. Like she was trying to, she was like, oh, well, if you fall for me, then that's on you. And like she would play like when because she was an Uber, but then I just kind of said, I'm like, okay, maybe that's just a new friend, because you meet people and they come and they go, you meet people, whatever, random people, because she said she was from Florida. And she was staying with somebody here for a couple days or whatever, and so she was giving me rides, but I was made sure I paid her for the rides, because I wasn't trying to. She was like, "Oh, you could get some rides for free." I said, "Nope." I paid her for gas, paid her because I didn't want her to feel like I didn't want to open up no leeway for her to say that, oh, I gave you this, so you got to like that kind of thing. So I said, let me pay her. And, and she was trying to do little subtle things to make me fall for her. And then I had to catch myself. I said, wait a minute, this girl, for 2 weeks, I didn't hear from her after she would pick me up, whatever, take me to Walmart or whatever. And I would just pay her whatever. And so after 2 weeks, she texted me out the blue, and she wanted me to go with her to some kind of baseball game or something like that. And Spirit said, leave that alone. Spirit said, leave her alone. Leave that alone. She was trying to lure me into her little subtle try, I guess, like to get me to chase her. And she didn't think that I was smart enough to see what she was trying to do to me. You know what I mean? So Spirit said, leave her alone. And she left you. Yeah, her leaving me alone was the best protection I can ever get. So I thank God for that. I thank God that she went her way, and then she's like, yeah, well, I can kick rocks if you don't want to. I said, take care. And I had to let it go because But yeah, but out here it's crazy out here, People have no shame. They have no kind of, dignity. They have no kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? It's sad. They don't, but yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
It's a time. Like I said, it's 2023. We measure our lives by different events and stuff. But like 9/11 happened 22 years ago, just about 22 years.
Right. Oh, wow. It went by fast. The past 22 years. Yeah, I remember that day. Yeah.
I mean, that's a major marker that I'll use sometime, but we think about all through the first bit of the 2000s and 2010 to 2020, and now it's just quick. But it's the time we're living in, and these things that are being the permissive side of things. It's like what's going on. I just want to drop that. I'm not going to say anything about this on YouTube as much. I just want to say this amount because I'm going to do a Patreon and speak about this. In Uganda, there's a big thing going on right now where, and I don't know how it exactly works, but they're trying to make it into law where if you are LGBTQ, that it's a crime just for being. And my thing is not so much that. It is that. But why are you so concerned when you're from the UK and America? Like you want to protect these people, whatever. They are black. But do they have to be black if you don't want to protect them? Like you don't care about other countries in any country in Africa as far as what you can get out of it. But now you're pushing this thing now where you're against the government for voting that down and making it criminal. I don't understand it. That's their country. Mind your business. Mind your business. Exactly. If you like that, do what you want to do. Do it behind closed doors. Why do people have to push things and then you want to go over here and you mad at Africa? They ain't going for it here. And there's a lot of them here. But you don't care about the darker nations, right? But now all of a sudden you care about that because you want to break them down. You want to break the family unit down. You want to make them sitting ducks to be taken over with that stuff.
Yeah, they never cared about the black nations. They never cared about the African nations, but yeah, they want to make it, they want to make it like they're pushing the Western agenda on Africa. Right. But yeah, it's this whole political thing. It's just one twisted type of the way how they do things and, just to construe the agenda and all this stuff. Africans, that's not even a part of to say Africans to, homosexuality. I mean, that's some other influence, that's not even the natural way, Anyway, any race is not natural to be a homosexual. Really, the homosexuality was really pushed by the European. It's really a Eurocentric type of thing that they started. But that's never really been our nature. You know what I mean? Because they sleep with animals and sleep with dogs, and they'll hump a goat or something like that. And then a man will be on top of another man, like all kinds of crazy psychotic type of things that they do. But African people, that's not our nature. That's not our way. That's like a no-no. You know what I mean? So, these people, if in Uganda, they're saying that they don't want to push that. And say, let them do their thing. You know what I mean? America has their own mess to clean up. And that's another thing about Americans. Americans don't know when to mind their own damn business. You know what I mean? They need to clean up their own bushes and their own stuff and stick there and stop putting their nose into other people's stuff. You know what I mean? They got too much to do over here than to say that, to judge other people, stuff. They got too much going on over here. It's like that nosy neighbor that don't know when to keep their nose out. That's what America is. And that's the reason why America, they've been getting all the wars and everything, because they don't know when to keep their nose out of other people's business. They don't know how to stop, So yeah, right on with the Uganda way. I agree with the Ugandan. They want to ban homosexuality, let them do it. It's their choice. Yeah, they've been running their governments since the dawn of time and they've been doing a damn good job. I wouldn't say all of them, because some of them, it's a lot of like Rwanda, like a lot of places they still a little bit of, like some of the leaders are a little bit corrupted, but America is really no better because there's not really that much better here, because a lot of these politicians are corrupted as well too. So who are we to say what's better? You know what I'm saying? So leave the people. They don't want to practice the homosexuality. Leave them.
And it's like Master Glam just said, it's the porn also. The porn is like a menu in a restaurant showing you food that you're not usually eating. And after a while, you start to get curious and want to try it out. You know what I mean? So it's like they keep pushing this stuff and pushing this stuff. And my thing is so hypocritical. You don't care about the African nations. you do trade with them, but what you can get out of them, but you don't care about them. You want to exploit them, right? But now all of a sudden you care. You want to save these people, and it's not right, because that's part of their agenda. You're right. You're right. So hypocritical.
It's very hypocritical. It's very, as if they don't have crimes here, that they don't, as if they don't have criminals here in the United States, as if they don't have corruption here in the United States, as if some of the people who run this country, as if they're not corrupted, all those Bush and all the rest of them. And then here, Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are racist too. So it's like, come on, we have our own mess to clean up here. Like, come on, so yeah, it's crazy.
He's proven, Joe Biden. Please, Sleepy Joe.
Yes, that's what he is. Very sleepy.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be this next year, the rest of this year into next year, and these elections and all the things that's going on in the world. Whoa! And we're already approaching April, and so much has already happened. We're not even out of this year yet. Could you imagine? But all of this stuff, the fever pitch, crescendo, everything's building up, and it's like, I would love to have a crystal ball to see what's happening for the rest of the year. Maybe I don't want to see it. It's just too much on the precipice. I've never seen or heard in history that how so many countries are against each other. Some are allied up, but America, so many countries are outwardly like against America, outright. And they're like so weak and so, oh man, it's crazy. On the verge of financial collapse, all this stuff going on, and all these nations like, yeah, we know who you are. Wow, how do you handle that? It's crazy. I don't know. It's like a television series you want to see the end of. It's like, I want to see how this turns out.
But it's like they control the agenda too. I think all the upcoming events that they plan, it's already pre-planned. I think, like the George Floyd back in 2020, well, what happened with him, and then that started a whole nother movement. And, so I think they plan all that stuff. COVID, so I mean, I think what's to come, they're planning all that, what's to come too. So, I mean,
that's true. That's true. So let's see how this script turns out. But we know we'll see right through it. But anyway, let's jump on into the conference line. I left the number up. I hope you all got it. I'll show it again. Let me scroll on up. Oh, this is good. Tomorrow night we're gonna have Neil Frazier back on again. And I forgot the topic. But it's a dope title. It's a nice time. I'm like, yo, that's a good show. But I forgot. I gotta prepare for it tonight. I'll drop the link as soon as I'm finished into the various social media, platforms and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. But that's the conference line. It's usually only after our shows. That's the spillover. And you can go there, even if I'm not there, if you have somebody else to talk to, if you go there and you're listening to this as a recorded upload and not live, if you go there, nobody might be there. But this is because we're here. We're going to go over there. But like I said, again, if you have somebody else that you plan to talk to, you go over there, you want to do something, I have no problem with that. Just don't tell them your private business, because it may end up on my on an upload. But then if I deem it to be private, okay, then it ain't going up nowhere. So you can say whatever you want to say. So I'm gonna take a minute and play some music. Thank you, Sister Julia. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you, Master Glam. I love it when y'all come in. It's like seasoning on a good meal. So I'm gonna play some music, and we're gonna end up out of here. And you all can go on there and start the conversation if you want. Okay. Getting some text messages here. Okay, here we go. See you in a little while.